aligning the screen to where I want it to be. And here we are. I hope you are all well. I hope that you have had a wonderful day yesterday. Obviously, being cooped up, hopefully you found lots of things to do. I've got some, obviously you can see some people here spent lots of time on their triangles work, and I wanted to share that with people and show people what was going on. So hopefully you can all see what I can see on the screen, because it seems to be very delayed today. I don't know why. Has it frozen for everyone? I don't know. I am going to have to hope that it isn't frozen and carry on. So let's assume it isn't, and it's just my screen playing up, and we will carry on. So we're going to be today talking about various different things. We're going to be talking about short division and the bus stop method for doing short division. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining why it works, what it is, and then giving you a chance to go away and practice it. I know that some people, even my year 9s and 10s, when I teach secondary school, come to me and say, I can't do division, it's too hard. And hopefully today I'll show you, not only should it not be something we're scared of, it's not actually that bad. It just looks harder than it really is. So, with that in mind, let's have our little starter activity while I say hello to people in the live chat. Can you name those 4 triangles? And what lines and shapes can you add on to make it clearer? This is easier for everyone who was in the triangles lesson yesterday. So, good morning, Amber. Good morning, Ellis. Good morning. I've got this written down because I wanted to make sure I didn't get this wrong. And where I put it? Sharanya. Good morning, Rashan. Good morning, Roxy. Good morning, Chris Eaton. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kyra. Good morning, everyone who's joined us today. So hopefully you've written these things down. These are the lines that you can add on, and then we have in the bottom left corner we have an equilateral triangle. On the bottom right we have a scalene triangle. On the top right we have an isosceles triangle. Fortunately I'm saying it today rather than Paul coming in and being annoying. And the top left corner we've got a right angled triangle. So let's start on the lesson today on short bus stop division. And we are going to be going straight into it. It's called the bus stop method because it looks a bit like a bus stop, but it's got no buses involved, and you don't need to be on the bus to do it. You can do it anywhere you want, as long as you've got a pencil and paper. So hopefully you've all got that ready. Remember, there are resources down below us that in the description you can print off to help you after the lesson. I'd like you just to think back to our inverse lesson and see if you can tell us quickly. You are allowed to use the chat for this. You can put a number down. You don't have to do question 1 first. You can, in the live chat, write down answers. I know I always say to people, you can't put answers in the chat, but today is different. You are allowed to do that today. So if you'd like to, get involved in these. So I think we've got 37 times something. We need to use divide. This is why we're doing this. Just to remind us, 37 times 2 is 74. 54, if we work it backwards, 54 divided by 2 is 27. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And 36 divided by 9 equals 4. And then 1044 divided by 6. 1044 divided by 6. We're going to need some help there, I'm afraid, because I'm not sure that I'm able to do that just in my head. So that's why we're jumping over to this screen here. Hello! I'm back. So we have got my special screen for writing, and we want to do 1044 divided by 6. And in order to do that, we are going to create a bus stop. Now, I have seen people come to me and say, oh, in the bus stop method, you have to always have the bigger number on the inside. That's not the case. It's always the first number. The order of this division is important. The first number comes inside this bus stop. It is a bigger number. We're going to mainly use smaller questions than this, but I want to show you that even the year 3s and 4s can cope with these bigger numbers. Because what you're allowed to do, that I don't think some people realise, you're allowed, if this is divide by 6, what I always do is write down the 6 times table. You're allowed to do that because the division is the important bit. So we're allowed to use this to help us. And I tell my year 9s and 10s this. They'll tell you if any of them were in the chat, they'd say, you're allowed to do this. So, if I want to know how many 6s there are, we first of all look at this first number, which is the thousands column. Remember, we got thousands, hundreds, tens, and units. We're going to look at how many 6s are in the thousands. Well, there's only one of them. There's 1,000 sitting over in the corner on his own, just minding in his own business. There's no 600s in there. There's no 6,000s in 1,000, so we put none. And we tell the thousands, can you go and join the hundreds, please? Because he hasn't been used. So to do that, we pop him there. Now we're going to look and see how many 6s are in the hundreds column. 6s in, this is now 10 hundreds, not 1, because the thousand has come and joined, he is 10 hundreds. And there is 600s in 10 hundreds. There's one of them. 6 inside 10, it goes once. But it leaves 4 left over because 10 minus 6 gives us 4. Got to make sure I got neat writing, haven't I? I'm going to be in trouble today because I haven't got the date on the board, so my sister might have words with me later and say I didn't put the date on the board behind me. I have to make sure I get that sorted for tomorrow. So 6s into that leaves 4 remainders. So I'm going to put those 4 remainders there. That basically means that 400s, sorry, you can't divide by 6, so can you go and join the 10s, please? So they have. They've gone and made 44 10s. So now we're going to do the 10s row. 6s into 44. We're going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. But with 2 left over, because 42 is 2 less than 44. 44 less 2 is 42. So we can only put 7 of them with 2 left over. And fortunately, because we're not trying to do this, make this hard for anyone at the moment, 24 is exactly 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we do the units, 24 is going to leave us 4. That tells us the answer is 0174. Now I've gone for quite a difficult question first off, because I wanted to show you how you can use the whole operation. We're now going to take a step back. What if it was an easier question? So, with this time, we're going to just go from the start. So if you're in year 3 or 4 and you're finding that a little bit tough, that's absolutely fine. We're going to do a question, and I'm going to say the question first. The question is, what is 78 divided by 2? 78 divided by 2. Now it's very important we write this the right way around. 78 divided by 2. This is not 2 divided by 78. You cannot write it this way around. So we'll get a big red cross and say, no, we're not having that there. We're going to do 78 divided by 2. So we're going to draw out our bus stop. Here it is. And the first number goes inside. And the divisor goes on the outside. So we have to first of all look at the... We've only got tens and units today. But for this one, I don't know why I've said today. I must be tired. How many 2s? Well, what we're allowed to do, remember year 5s and year 3s and 2s, you're allowed to write out the 2 times table. You don't have to for your 2s if you know it off by heart, but You're always allowed to. It's not going to get you in trouble. Nothing gets you in trouble with me, really. So, 2's into 7. Ignore the 8 for the moment. 2's into 7. Well, I can see 6 is 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to pop a 3 up. And I've got 1 left over. So the leftover 1 comes and joins the 8. He's all lonely. So I've used 3 of them. 3 2's are 6. And I've got 1 left over. This is now 18. So when we do this one, 2's into 18 goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 39. So we can use this to do division in lots of numbers there. Now the reason it works is because we're talking about leftovers. We are talking here, when you are collecting your numbers, you're only looking at the hundreds, for example. If we've got hundreds, tens and units, you're only looking at the hundreds and seeing how many hundreds go into that many hundreds. So they all come into the building and go, we're all here, we've got 800s here, we're all here. And we're like, well, I need to put you in groups of 300, please, because I'm dividing by 3. Well, so 300 if you could go that way, and 300 if you can go that way, and the other 200 just down there going, but what about us? It's like, well, don't worry about it. I'm going to let you come in and we'll sit with the 10s. Oh, we don't want to sit with the 10s. We're big, we're 100s. It's okay, you'll be fine. Come and help the 10s out. So the 200 that are left over come marching through, and they come and sit down with the 10s. And there's 70 of those. So now we've got 270. But we're now looking for groups of 30. So I can go, there's a group going out that door, that door, that door, that door, until 8 groups have gone out. 8 groups of 30 have gone out. And then there's only 30 left. Because there was 270. So those 30 go out. And I've got none left to divide. So I've taken 9 groups out, plus the original groups from the first lot, the 2 groups of hundreds. So we've got 2 groups in the hundreds, and then in the 10s, we've got 9 groups, but we've got no groups left. Now that's a verbal discussion. Let me show you what that looks like here. That was me doing out loud how we might do 870 divided by 3. I got my 800, not my 800, my 870 in my bus stop. Not because it's the bigger number, but because it's the first number. And we looked at how many 300s were in the 800 we had. We had 2, we sent those away, leaving 200 to come and sit with the 70. We then looked at this column, and we had 3's into 27, 3's 9's are 27, and because we've got none left, just pop a 0. There's none left to do. We still have to do it, but we just put none there. So 870 divided by 3 is 290. So that's how we can do division. Time for me to come back to my screen. And I've got to try and remember what puts me on the screen. So there we have our introduction to division. We have talked about how you're going to use the box method. The box method? I've invented a method. A bus stop method. Now, I should tell you today's April Fool's Day, and I'm telling you this because I'm not doing any lying or anything today. I want to be honest with you, but I will tell you, because it's April Fool's Day, I will tell you about a very, very funny joke I played on my mum when I was growing up. One day, I pretend it was April Fool's morning. I got up and I disguised myself as a mirror, and I sat in the lounge and pretended to be a mirror. And she came in and she was doing her hair, and then I went, ah! And she jumped and went, oh my goodness! Oh, you scared me. I don't like it when you pretend to be a mirror. Now, I want you to go and sit over in that corner and reflect on what you've just done. Yeah, I really need to stop these silly jokes. They're not funny. Now, sometimes the answers won't be exact. Sometimes you won't get precise answers. But we don't panic. You've got 3 options, and I prefer the first 2. You can either find a remainder or a decimal. And we can use the remainder, as you can see at the bottom, to make a fraction. Oh, there is an owl. I will now fly over and go and show you what happens when I do this question. So Amber's favourite colour is teal. I'm not sure this is going to show up too well, so I'm going to use a lighter blue. I think it was Amber who said the other day her favourite colour was teal. So we're going to do a question where when I do 35 divide by 6, because we're focused on the 6 times table from a week ago, it's a good one to choose. We've got 35, because it's at the front, divide by 6. So I've got my 6 times table. We've learned, we've been practicing. We look at the first number first. Does 6 go into 3? No. So we put 0 and the whole of that 3 comes forwards. We've now got 35. Well, let's use that 6 times table, shall we? If you've learnt it because you've been practicing, excellent. If you're year 5 and 6, I wouldn't expect you necessarily to always need it, but it's always good to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get stop. I've still got, because 35 take away 30, I've still got 5 remainder. So here's some options for you. Option 1. You can put the answer as 5, remainder 5. Option 2. You can put a 0.0 on your number and carry on. So you put a 0.0 and you put a point up here. We carry on. We put that remainder with the 5. 6 into 50. Well, we needed to carry on. 48 is going to be 8 lots. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remainder 2. And so we got that one in there. And then we divide by, we've got to do this one. So we've got a 6 divide into 20. 1, 2, 3 is 3. I wrote it in the wrong place. Silly man. So we've got 3. And then that's given me 18. But I wanted 20. So I've got 2 more. So I add another 0. But this shows me I can add another 0 and 2 more. And another 0 and 2 more. I could keep going forever, but I'm not going to. This shows me that the answer is going to be 5.83, and we can call that, if you're year 6s and 5, some of you might have even heard this before, recurring. That number will go on forever. The other option, if you really want to be super advanced, didn't even know I could slide to that way. I have to learn how I did that then. The other option is you can write 5, and because you've got this remainder 5, but we're dividing by 6, you can write 5 and 5, 6. They are all correct answers. They're all correct ways of doing it. There's no wrong way to do that. Okay? So, if you're doing those, that is a good way of doing it if you've got numbers left over. Welcome back to me. So, hopefully that has covered how to try some short division. Now, there is a frustrating thing about short division. I've been trying to give you lots of colouring and drawing, and the best way to practice your bus stop method is to do it. In the worksheet below, in the description, there are 20 questions. If you're year 2, 3, 4, you probably only want to try the first 10. You can try as many as you want, and the answers are on the sheet as well to check whether you got them right. If you're struggling, do ask mum and dad or anyone who looks after you just to go through with you, or rewind and watch the video. That's absolutely fine as well. Okay? Because your challenge today is just, I wasn't even on the screen when I was doing that. I need to learn to put myself on the screen. Your challenge is just to complete the short division sheet. We had all those triangle challenges yesterday. But remember, anyone who sends me pictures on the Facebook group or to my email address who sends me pictures will find... I will try and do a gallery of work at the start of the lesson, and while I've got 81 people here, I'll try and get as many of those bits of information up. We've got lots of people watching the videos, so that is awesome. Show me your work. I'd love to see how all the excellent work people have been doing. You can go away and practice your bus stop method. I have been Mr. Harris, and I think that's just about it. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again either later or tomorrow.